What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about DFINITY, the Internet Computer Protocol. Alright guys, so what is this junk, or is this cool thing? Anyways guys, we're going to get into it, explain it. It is pretty massive what they are doing. I recommend you guys stay tuned because this is going to be a jam-packed episode of Drake on Digital. And with Drake on Digital, if you aren't getting on this channel, you're getting left behind. All right, guys, so what is DFINITY? Well, we're going to start on the website, just show you it real quick, just so you guys can see it. Wow, that's great. They got a bunch of team members. Awesome, cool. All right, great. Okay, let's get into the primer. All right, so the Internet Computer Protocol. So first you had Bitcoin, then you had Ethereum, and now we got Internet Computer Protocol. They have a massive team, 189 people from the likes of Google, IBM, Facebook, Amazon, Uber, Apple, Intel, Microsoft, Samsung, Goldman Sachs, blah, 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 blah. It keeps going on. Guys, they got a massive list of people. They got a crazy team. And the brains behind the brawn is Dominic Williams. In fact, he actually created the Dropbox before Dropbox was created. But the problem is he created the Dropbox at the wrong time, guys. It's all about timing. Just like Bitcoin, Bitcoin was actually not the first digital cash, guys. I think the very first one was like DigiCash or something. It just was launched at the wrong time, so it didn't take off. Bitcoin was launched right after the crash, hence why it took off. Anyways, guys, highly recommend you guys take a look at Dominic Williams. Pretty smart guy. This project's actually been going on since 2015. I know it just launched like 2 weeks ago, and it was like massively pumped. It actually went in the top 10 coins. Actually, it is in the top 10 right now with the market cap like ridiculously high. But anyways, be careful out there, guys. This is a super hyped project right now, but it is still a great project, and that's the reason why it's hyped. Me personally, I would recommend at least, again, not financial advice, is wait for it to cool down. So back into the primer, because we got to get on that paint, and we don't want that paint bleeding through. All right, guys, they got a lot of investors. Polychain Capital is one of them. But first you have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just like, hey, you send money. This is cool. This is awesome. Now, second comes Ethereum. Now you can program your money. Now you can say, I send my money to Jeff if Jeff does this and da, 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 da. But the problem with Ethereum is it runs on a centralized computer. Most of the, if you guys didn't know, Ethereum nodes are run on AWS. That is a problem. With DFINITY, it runs on code, so you can basically run a computer based on running cycles through an algorithm. I'll explain it later in this video. In fact, let's just do this. Dominic, play the video.
When the network launches, there will be just over 469 million of these tokens in existence. They are distributed among 4 main cohorts. The first cohort is 500 plus financial contributors, which are made up of those participating in the February 2017 seed round and the later 2018 strategic and pre-sale fundraisers. The pre-sale price, summer 2018, was 4 Swiss francs and 17 cents, or about $4.50. Of course, many things have moved forward since 2018. The second cohort is the 150 plus team contributors, made up of the 120 current full-time team members and others who have contributed over time. The third is 50,000 plus airdrop participants who participated in the airdrop we ran in 2018 and successfully passed KYC. And finally, there's the DFINITY Foundation itself, which holds tokens in an endowment that it uses to fund operations. But what role do ICP tokens play within the broader token ecosystem on the internet computer, and how might they be used? The internet computer actually has 2 native tokens, ICP and also cycles, which are used as fuel for computation. Additionally, every canister can create its own token if it wishes, which shares its identity. A canister can hold balances of any token and can send tokens to other canisters as part of function calls. On the internet computer, tokens can be used for anything, from loyalty rewards, through payments, the securitization of assets, and the governance of open internet services. Let's look at how ICP tokens, in particular, can be used in more detail. You can do 2 things with ICP tokens. Firstly, by locking them inside the network nervous system, the algorithmic in-protocol governance system that manages the network, you can create neurons, which can vote on proposals and earn voting rewards, also paid in ICP. Secondly, you can transform ICP tokens into cycles, a kind of stablecoin used as fuel for computation by canisters. When you create a neuron, its voting power and the rewards you receive from the network nervous system when your neuron votes start off by being proportional to the number of ICP tokens you locked inside. So for example, all things being equal, a neuron that locks up 200 tokens will have twice the voting power and receive twice the rewards for voting as a neuron that locks up 100 tokens. Depending on your neuron's configuration, a maximum voting reward is available each month. The network nervous system tracks the proportion of votes your neuron participates in and pays you a pro rata share of that maximum reward. Luckily, you can configure your neuron to mostly vote automatically by following other neurons you trust, so it's possible to receive the maximum available reward without doing too much work. Some other factors affect your neuron's voting power too, and the rewards you receive. A neuron behaves a bit like a time deposit bank account, where you can ask to withdraw your money at any time, but it is always given to you after a delay. Essentially, to withdraw ICP tokens locked inside one of your neurons, you must dissolve it. Dissolving takes time, but you can start and stop the process of dissolving a neuron whenever you like. The minimum time remaining before a neuron can completely dissolve and release its locked tokens is known as the dissolve delay, and this falls while a neuron is being dissolved. The dissolve delay is configurable by a dial in your neuron's online management interface. The longer the dissolve delay you set, the greater your neuron's voting power and the greater the voting rewards you will receive, because this encourages you to vote with a longer-term view on driving the success of the network. You can increase the dissolve delay anytime you like. However, the dissolve delay can only be reduced by putting the neuron into dissolve mode. You can think of this being similar to a kitchen timer, where the dial can be twisted clockwise to increase the countdown, but the countdown can only occur through the passage of time. In order for your neuron to participate in voting, the current dissolve delay must be set at between 6 months and 8 years. Personally, I plan to twist all my dissolve dials right the way around to 8 years to maximize my voting power and rewards, as this is a long-term project. The final way neurons increase their voting power and voting rewards is by growing older. The age of a neuron is the time that has elapsed since it was last placed in dissolve mode. Financial contributors to the Internet Computer Project will receive their ICP tokens locked in neurons that have a generous pre-existing age, and will be able to choose between quickly dissolving their neurons to obtain their ICP tokens or configuring longer dissolve periods so they can participate in voting and earn rewards. The network nervous system's payment of voting rewards to neuron holders is inflationary. But let's look at the other way ICP tokens can be used. The other use for ICP tokens is that you can convert them into cycles. The conversion of ICP tokens to cycles occurs at a variable rate, which is constantly configured by the network nervous system in response to external markets, such that burning approximately 1 Swiss francs worth of ICP, which is about the same as $1, will always create a trillion cycles, which we refer to as a T. Software canisters that live on the Internet Computer blockchain must be charged with cycles, which are used to power computations and memory management and are burned in the process. Over time, more and more cycles will be burned by computation. Since cycles can only be created from ICP tokens, effectively over time, more and more ICP tokens will be burned by computation and disappear. This guarantees that so long as computations are running on the Internet Computer, someone somewhere must be buying ICP tokens as a means to create the cycles that power them. When ICP tokens are converted into cycles and burned by computation, that's deflationary, as it reduces the supply. The value of cycles will stay approximately constant, which ensures that the cost of computation remains stable and predictable and allows them to be used as a store of value, for example, within DeFi applications. The value of cycles stays stable for 2 reasons. Firstly, the network nervous system creates a firm ceiling on their price because it will always create 1 trillion in exchange for approximately 1 Swiss francs worth of ICP. Secondly, if there is ever a surplus of cycles on financial exchanges, say, and the price there falls, users will then purchase those cheaper surplus cycles for use as fuel, leading to them all eventually being burned by computation, such that future cycles will have to be created by converting ICP, which returns the price to its usual ceiling. The Internet Computer's use of computation to produce a stable value for cycles is potentially revolutionary. Holders of cycle tokens receive a guarantee that, so long as the Internet Computer is running, eventually all surplus cycles will be burned and the value of their cycles will return to its usual peg. This works in stark contrast to the stablecoins of today, where such tokens are either collateralized by assets held in trust by custodians acting as issuers and redeemers, or their values are stabilized using elaborate schemes that depend on assumptions about the volatility of crypto assets held as collateral, which in both cases makes them difficult to trust. The power of cycles underscores that the Internet Computer stands ready to facilitate DeFi just as much as it will help developers create the hyperscale Internet services of tomorrow. The last thing I want to mention is open internet services and their governance tokens. We hope open internet services will eventually provide alternatives right the way across today's closed, monopolistic, big tech ecosystem, and we will see open versions of services such as YouTube, LinkedIn, Salesforce, and Facebook. That is why we're developing LinkedUp and CanCan, LinkedIn and TikTok clones respectively, as sample apps. Open internet services will be built from autonomous code that is controlled and managed by open tokenized governance systems, which function similarly to the network nervous system. Tokenized governance systems for open internet services are coming soon and will generate their own token, which is to be used in voting and could potentially receive a distribution of value created by the autonomous system. What's exciting is that each governance system shall contain its own decentralized financial exchange, where their governance token can be traded for cycles.
All right, so that video probably cleared up a lot of it. Now you guys kind of understand the concept, but based on this, the internet computer is created, the ICP protocol. Basically, it's formed the world's first web-speed, web-serving, public blockchain network. Basically, game changer is all you guys need to know. So it's an internet computer, ICP protocol, IP and internet, and data centers. So basically, it's decentralizing the internet. Why is this massive? Well, it's massive because if you have a centralized internet like everyone running on AWS, all that has to happen is AWS says, we're changing our prices, or sorry, we just got hacked, and then the internet goes down. So it hosts special smart contracts called canisters. Like it explained in the video, really don't need to get into this, but I can go over it again. But basically the canisters are the batteries of the system. So your canisters are basically going to be running it. So canisters have a couple of different, or can serve in different ways. First is it can be directly to end users. So users can interact with blockchain services without holding tokens. So you can buy these canisters and use them in order to get services. And here's an example of it. You have the canisters providing the web HTTP or HTTP and to the end user devices. So it's basically like using blockchain without even knowing you're using it. That's the blockchain that I want. Here's a couple uses for the ICP, Internet Computer Protocol. Tokenized internet services, pan-industry platforms, DeFi, smart contracts, enterprise systems, websites. So this is basically Ethereum on roids. And this is how it would work. You have the end user who's getting all the UI, and you have the developer deploying the canister. So basically the canister is the brains of the system. Canisters are pre-charged with cycles. Cycles are your stable coin of the ICP protocol. So you burn the ICP tokens in order to get these cycles. The cycles are used to charge up the canisters. And this is a little bit how the cycle works. So the data center sells ICP, operator buys ICP, converts ICP to cycles, cycles for charging, and then it's consumed, and all over again. And the ICP, or the canisters that are consumed, it spends the cycles, and the cycles used to buy ICP, and that's given to the data centers. So the data centers are basically the guys making bank. They get paid ICP and they sell ICP. And it's for a good reason. They're selling their data usage. You can also stake the ICP token as well. And like it explained in the video for the neurons. So here's a couple of examples. You can build open internet services. You can do Instacart, Gmail, Twitter, Airbnb, anything. They actually have their own. They got a couple websites. Let me just show you the list of all of them so you guys can see them. Here's a couple of their websites. There's actually one that's not on here. It's called LinkedUp. It's basically LinkedIn, etc. You got like CanCan, Definity, NFT. Anyways, guys, you can check all this junk out. It's pretty cool. These are just examples of how they're building. Obviously, they're still working on building more stuff. It's basically trying to be like your app store. And the reason why this is awesome is because other apps, they have to go on like Google Play Store or the Apple Store, and they have to pay like 30% of their revenue just to get listed on it. Good example is Fortnite. They didn't want to pay the 30%, and Apple was like, bye-bye. And yes, it was created in less than 1,000 lines of code. Here's the example. CanCan, just like TikTok. It incentivizes with tokens. You can probably download it right now. So yeah, highly recommend you guys check it out. Here's a couple of the investors. Andreessen Horowitz, Beacon Fund, Polychain Capital. They got a couple peeps on here, man. All right, so now you guys kind of get the junk. Let's go ahead and go over a couple vocab terms. Canisters. Canisters are computational units that include both program and state. So the canister is similar to like something that is deployed on a software unit and contains the code. So basically this is your thing that is running. So when a user interacts with this canister, you're going to be spending cycles, which are quote unquote the stable coins of the ICP network. So in order to get ICP, or to get cycles, you have to burn ICP. Yes, it is de-inflationary. However, there is no cap to the ICP tokens. So theoretically, there's an infinite supply. But again, it could be like Ethereum. The more usage that's on there, it could be de-inflationary. But as always, time will tell. A little bit of background on Dominic Williams as well. This is quote unquote what he was stating. So the internet has become very monopolistic and corporate. So you have people like Facebook, AWS, Google, etc. And they can change platform parameters at any time and just say, oh, sorry, we don't accept this, or oh, sorry, this is how much data is. A good example is Google Photos. You upload all your photos on there. They say, yeah, it's free forever. And then they're like, well, we're going to charge you $10 a month for 15 gigs. Then you're like, whoa, I got 500 gigs on here. What do I do? Well, you either pay it and keep your photos or forget it and all your photos are gone forever. Well, just like not your keys, not your crypto, not your pictures, not your phone, I don't know, whatever. Not your photos, not your stuff. So here's a couple of companies that did not like it. Zynga, a social games company, was basically taken off Facebook when it changed its rules. Fortnite being delisted from Google, refusing to pay the 30% revenue share. Twitter restricting the use of its API in 2012. So basically there's so many different things, guys. These guys are centralized companies. They make the rules. I mean, they built themselves up. I mean, that's why it's kind of like, look, you realize how much power they have. It's kind of like time to calm down. So with that whole overview, I know this token is, this Tonkin has pumped a tunk. So be careful with this Tonkin. Here's a couple of things you guys need to know. The seed round, these guys bought in at 3 cents a token. Guys, the token went up to like $350 at a point. Be careful. But good news is their tokens are locked up for like 10 or 15 years or something like that through the neurons. So do keep that in mind. They are locked up. But basically they had 24% of the tokens. The strategic round, they got their tokens as well. These are people like Polychain Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, Coin Fund, Multicoin Capital, Greycroft Partners, etc. There's a bunch of them, and they spent about 6.1 million in the investment. And then you also had another private sale, which was paying $4 per ICP token, and it was about 110 different participants. So keep that in mind, guys. Again, this was some major VCs. It was Andreessen Horowitz, Polychain, SV Angel, Aspect Ventures, Electric Capital, 0x, Scalar Capital, and Multicoin Capital. And then they were nice. They had a little airdrop, less than 1% of the supply. So here's the breakdown right here, guys. So right now, in my opinion, this is very centralized. So until this gets a bit more decentralized, it kind of makes me a bit nervous because a lot of these guys are on some massive gains. So you guys got to be careful with it. So the airdrop was nice, but I don't know, man. It's like the airdrop, the only evenly distributed tokens were about 1%. All the rest were like, hey, we'll sell it to you. Hey, we'll do that. So it's kind of like, geez, bro, really? And you guys can see the distribution here. Look at that sliver of pie. Now I call that decentralized. Now it would be nice if the founders got this and the rest was an airdrop. That would be a lot better. But hey, I didn't make the coin. I'm just giving advice. Here's a couple of the people on the team. We kind of just did some pictures on them. But Dominic Williams, serial entrepreneur, basically in this big-time tech guy. Like I told you, he tried to build the Dropbox before they had the Dropbox. We also had Jan. Guys, I'm horrible with names. I'm just going to call it Jan C. Ketchup, whatever. Jan C. All right, guys, over at IBM, and then you got Johan GG is from Google. He was a tech manager at YouTube. You guys can read this, but they got a really good team. I highly recommend you guys take a look into them as well. I've been researching this project for a couple days now. Really like what they're doing, but me personally, I want to wait for a better buying opportunity. It's been massively hyped. So you guys can do what you want. That's the ICP protocol in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But these guys are making some pretty cool apps. They got a lot of investors in them. I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys their GitHub. Pretty active on the GitHub. Well, recently at least. Not really much repositories and pools in the past. Their YouTube channel is definitely popping. They got 12.6K followers. Here's their Explorer. The Explorer's all right. I'll show you their, what is it? Not chain, but yeah, the Definity Explorer. Not like Etherscan. I definitely like Etherscan better. You can't really search wallet addresses and whatnot, but hey, it is what it is. It's not my project. Just giving you guys a quick overview. So I hope that cleared up a couple things on ICP. I highly recommend you guys at least take a look into it. Here's a couple of frequently asked questions. This is directly on their website. So if I didn't answer any of the questions on here, you guys can go ahead and leave it in the comments below, or you can visit this website, check out a couple. And just to sum it up as well, ICP is a utility token. This is used as governance, and it's also used to be converted into cycles to used for running websites, applications, as well as power computations on the internet computer through canisters. So basically it is your battery and juice of the system. And the neurons, you can look at these like bonds or money markets. Basically they're time locked contracts, and the older they get, the tokens are released through them and rewarded. So that's why a lot of the tokens are locked up right now, is a lot of the ICP tokens are locked in neurons. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys want to support the channel, there's some links in the description below. You get a reward, I get a reward, you get paid to support it. It's a win-win. Bam, bam. If you guys like the video, smash up that like button and subscribe to the channel. Bell notification so you guys are notified every time we make a new one. We'll leave you guys with a wisdom one-liner. We're actually going back in time. We're going to Proverbs chapter, actually not 27, we're going to 26 verses 1. No, 2. Like a fluttering sparrow or a darting swallow, an undeserved curse does not come to rest. That's so true, man. I mean, like if you ever hated on someone or said something mean that you wish you didn't say, I mean, there's sometimes you just wish you could pull it back, especially when they didn't even deserve it. So anyways, guys, watch your mouth, watch your words. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification. That way you guys can be ahead of the game every time we make a new video. If you guys are new to cryptocurrency, don't know where to get started, don't know what to invest in, well, participate in the triple threat. The first thing, set up a Celsius account. This is for your savings. This is where you're going to store your cryptocurrency, and you can earn interest. It can be up to 5%, 6%, 10%, and they even have some as high as 17%. Here's a referral link. Use this referral link in order to get 20 bucks in free Bitcoin. Part 2 of the triple threat is to get a crypto.com. Crypto.com account is one of the best places, especially for a beginner, to buy cryptocurrencies, or smaller altcoins. So now you have a savings account. Now you need to get a cryptocurrency wallet that allows you to buy those smaller altcoins like your Engine coin, your Raven coin, just like smaller alts, so you guys can participate in those big plays. My referral code is down here. If you use this, you'll get 25 bucks free. And the next one is Voyager. Voyager is awesome. There's a list of different cryptocurrencies you can use. What I like about Voyager in particular is you can actually make your next level up in buying cryptocurrencies. You can actually buy Bitcoin with a limit order. So you just hit buy Bitcoin, hit limit, and you type in how much you want. Boom. you're off to the races. So you don't have to watch it and make sure it's a good buy. And here's a referral code you guys can use to get some free cryptocurrency. This will allow you to get $25 for free. Can't beat free. And then obviously this is just a fun one, so you can get free cryptocurrency, is going on Lolly. You get a daily stack. All you do is you tap the treasure chest and you get free sats. And it's literally free. One of the days I literally got 20 bucks in free Bitcoin. Look, 101,000 sats. Pretty cool.